Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a fantastic day. Leaving a like, a comment, or subscribing helps out the channel a lot. Very big thank you to everyone who does that every single day. It does help out my metrics. And to everyone who has supported the other channels, I tip my hat to thee. Welcome back for another ridiculous video day. It's never ending. The cryptocurrency space, you will see a very dramatic shift from the video yesterday, as seemingly every 24 hours is a new experience within the cryptocurrency community, if you will. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says if history repeats, Bitcoin can surge to this level by mid-October. I'm going to move forward so that I can go back and explain exactly why that is the sentence. It says Cardano price analysis indicators suggest an increase to 50 cents. Bitcoin supply on exchanges falls to its lowest point in 4 years, further reducing massive sell-off risk. XRP price targets are now revamped to 60 cents. Will it make it in October 2022? And of course, the illustrious, the phrase that everyone loves, altcoin season on horizon. Here's what's next for Bitcoin, Avalanche, XRP, Polkadot, and other altcoins. If you couldn't tell by the beginning theme of the video, cryptocurrency prices went up. And of course, once you have a shift in prices, you have a shift in sentiment, and everyone begins to scream in the streets that this is the time, prices are about to go a lot higher. Apparently, historically, October is meant to be a very strong month for Bitcoin. I think it just kind of fell in that way. I don't think that a number of events have constantly caused Bitcoin to always just move up in October. And especially because of all the other nonsense that's happening around the world, we can't explicitly be like, oh, okay, it's October, Bitcoin's definitely going to go up. The bullishness is coming in from the fact that historically we have seen if Bitcoin's price is trending sideways and or down, a lot of people tend to put their Bitcoin onto cryptocurrency exchanges, potentially signaling that they may be selling off their coins at some point. However, when people take their Bitcoin off of exchanges, this usually means that they want to self-custody, they have plans for it in the future, they don't want to sell it immediately right now, whatever the actual case might be. And therefore, that's where the bullish sentiment has, 1% of the bullish sentiment has actually come from. With the rise in Bitcoin comes the rise in altcoins. As Bitcoin rises by 2 or 3%, altcoins tend to do a 4, 7, 18, 19% rise at the same exact time. The news of the day is, for those of you who did not hear, who were not on Twitter clamoring about this yesterday, the United Nations has called on the Federal Reserve of the United States of America to stop raising interest rates. Yes, this is the reason for the movements upward. The idea is that the United Nations has come forward and has told a number of world governments, basically also the United States in the center of the aisle, what you are doing is damaging the world's economy. And I made sure to add that long S for one reason, because I noticed very quickly that a lot of people, and I mean, I am not an economist. I did not study for 4 years. I read every single day about the cryptocurrency space, about financial policies. I get the basics of it, the very beginner basics. Cool. A lot of people were writing on the internet and also on Twitter that the Fed should not care what the UN has to say because, according to them, the Fed only should care about the United States. And if the US is doing good, who cares about the rest of the world? The term backhand comes up very quickly in my mind when I think of people like that. It's you have to understand or basically know on a very elementary level that what the United States does rattles and ripples throughout the rest of the entire planet. We've had days before here, me and you sitting here, have had days before where Tesla, Amazon, and Apple stock went down by 5% and other world markets were nearly down by 10-15% because they thought that the tech stock bubble had finally burst. The UN is basically saying that, as we have seen, like, this isn't new information. This isn't, witchcraft or tinfoil hat moments. It's simply the truth. We've gone over that before, and I told you this months ago. The Fed cannot continuously raise interest rates forever because other governments are trying to mimic exactly what they're doing. Part of the big problem is that what the US is doing is not the way to actually bring down inflation. They should have never printed trillions of dollars at will in the first place. If you've never seen the actual chart of the rate of inflation, or rather the creation of the US dollar chart, it's somewhere out there. You can see it from the 1970s until the now. By the time we got to 2020, it was a straight line up. It didn't zigzag. It didn't, stop for a second. It was a straight line up. They printed trillions at will in an effort to keep the markets afloat. They knew that something was wrong. And once again, this money was not for you as much as you were told or tried to believe so. That $1,200 check was nothing compared to what the other companies received. They received hundreds of billions of dollars to prop up the stock market and to prop up their companies to make sure that the stock market did not fall. We should have let the entire thing crash because we were already in a bubble. And then we could have moved up normally from there based on actual metrics of people getting back into the market and finding proper ways to reevaluate and value these companies. But alas, it did not happen that way. Everything that the Fed has done this year has not worked. They've been raising interest rates since the beginning of this year, and all we've seen is inflation rising in the US and also in other places around the world. We got that news a month or two ago that inflation had fallen by, 0.6% in the United States and still was, 8.67% or something like that. Everything they're doing is having no actual effect on anything. And part of the problem is they created and made sure that the system thrived on fake money. And that's what the system needs. That's the problem. Remember, I mentioned this yesterday towards the end or something of the video when I was talking about the woman who looked at me like I was absolutely insane when I was talking about higher inflation rates. The idea being, at some point, the Fed is going to have to stop raising interest rates. They mentioned after this information came out yesterday, a couple of hours ago from the UN, there was an emergency Fed meeting that a lot of people were like, whoa, what's going on? And then they basically came out, the Fed's head came out and was like, no, we have to continue on this course to do what we need to do to lower inflation. I forgot my main point. There we go. The idea being is that they can't raise interest rates forever. At some point, they're going to stop. But part of the problem is that they haven't figured out how to deal with inflation from the lie that they told us since the beginning of this year. So at some point, they're going to have to turn back on the money printer, as we've seen other countries doing in the last couple of days. And the issue is that there is going to be a 15% to 20% inflation rate in the United States, probably sometime next year. The really fascinating part of that is that the only people who are going to benefit are people who are into stocks, who are into securities, and who are into crypto, because we move up with the stock market. The stock market moves up from fake money being printed and pushed into it, as does the cryptocurrency market as well. So this made major news. This was, if you will, kind of the major news story of the day. They have been warned by multiple other entities. It's not simply just the UN. It's just that the UN has a higher presence than other establishments do. And yeah, so also tying into that as well, we had news yesterday for those of you who missed it. One of the largest banks on the planet, Credit Suisse, apparently looks like they're about to go bankrupt, like bad bankrupt. They released a letter, something yesterday to their investors, basically being like, no, what? Us? There's no way. We're only doing good. Basically telling people that within the next couple of months, they would try to get things together, even after their stock fell by 11.5%, people realizing what's going on. Yeah, stocks are currently up. It is assumed that it has to do with the idea that the UN has told them, you got to slow it down. This cannot happen until in infinity. My time frame for it was the end of this year, because I think the next Fed rate hike is meant to be sometime in November. I think it was November the 11th. I think that was a time frame that we were given. And at that point, a lot of people expected that that's going to be the final one, if not one or two at the beginning of next year. But by next spring, we can't have a 6 or 7% interest rate. Because as of right now, the mortgage rate has also skyrocketed as well. I'm not sure if anyone out there has been trying to buy property, and a lot of people aren't buying. People were very keen to buy when it was 0%, 1%, even 1.5%. But I think currently it's like, what's it, 5 point something, 6.25% for a mortgage in the United States, and that's not it. So yeah. A lot of stuff is going on right now. Like I told you, you would see the shift in sentiment. Yesterday was just really big, gigantic. Every single analyst came out and they were like, this is it. This is the end. It's all over, dude. It's all over. Everything is going to come crashing down. And now we're kind of at this point where, like, okay, everybody wants the Fed to stop raising interest rates. But there's going to be I don't know. We have to be realistic with ourselves. And a lot of people usually aren't. The US dollar has been garbage from the beginning. This is the point of Bitcoin. Bitcoin wasn't simply created because somebody was like, digital money? Yeah, that has a good ring to it. Let's do that. No, it's because the system was already broken. So they created something that could not hyperinflate. This is why we keep saying there's only 21 million Bitcoin. There is an infinite amount of US dollars and other fiat currencies. The idea is that one is meant to be sound money. The other one isn't, because we've seen how it works. If you make sure that the entire system is used to printing money to make it stay afloat, when you stop printing money, as they have done, and try to raise interest rates to cool off the market, everything collapses. And that is everything. It's not just the stock market. It's people lose their jobs. Businesses close down. Everything is affected. There was some other major company a day or two ago who announced that they're going to be laying off, what was it? Like several thousand people who work for them across the country. And it's like, yeah, this is what happens. So at some point, they will turn back on the money printer. Inflation will go back up. Stocks will skyrocket, as will the cryptocurrency market. And we are entering, remember I told you before? This was a year or two ago. We are going to enter a point where there are the haves and the have-nothings. I wasn't joking. This is simply it kind of coming to fruition. We already live in a world where the wealth disparity, if that's the phrase you decide to use, is already quite gigantic. What happens when the inflation rate is 20% inside of the United States? It's also, we got news yesterday, it's 86% in Turkey. 86%. What happens when it's difficult for people to even buy milk or bread? I'm sure you must have seen the videos of people talking about how devastating inflation has been on them. And the only people who are going to benefit are the people inside of the financial markets. And the really big run-up in prices will be when everyone else realizes that they should have been in a market as a way to protect themselves from inflation. You getting a 3% raise is not going to cut it. You getting 2% as a dividend from your stock is also not going to do it. This is when people begin to rush into crypto. We saw this as well when we were told not to leave our homes. Yeah, so that's all more or less the price news for today. Stocks are up, crypto is up. We will see what happens when the U.S. stock markets actually open up, if that momentum continues. What we're going to see during the course of this week, will other huge entities come forward also telling the Fed to stop raising interest rates? And if you didn't get the hint, everything that happens in the U.S. has a ripple effect across the entirety of the planet. It's not, how would you even think that the Fed is just, I don't understand the lack of brain power. It's so intense sometimes. I just really don't get it. That's all the price news. And yeah, let's move on. A lot of the rest of the news is very weird. Samsung has announced that they've launched their own metaverse land place thing. Samsung Latin America, the regional division of the electronics giant, has decided to present its own Space in Decentraland, an Ethereum-based metaverse platform. The Space, this name is terrible. If this is the worst thing I've ever heard. The Space will be called House of Sam. So, I grew up in a time where documentaries were not on the interwebs, but on like an actual television. And the one that kept on popping up, and I never really got why people were so obsessed with it, replaced the word house with sun, and that was everywhere. Like, that was a really big like topic all the time. How you could even think of having something relatively close to the sound of that. House of Sam sounds like a horror mental house. Does anyone out there want to go to the House of Sam today? Oh my gosh, dude, I was hoping you would ask. I could not wait until you asked me to go back to the House of Sam. And you know, the problem is someone got paid like $1 million for that. People sat in a room and brainstormed, what should we call Samsung's metaverse experience? It could have been like Samverse, Sungverse, Versung, Versam, Samland. That also sounds kind of cringy, but it's better than House of Sam. Terrible name. Will allow users to have virtual contact with different products of the brand. Wow. And play mini games to win Samsung branded rewards for their avatars. I did not mean to moan like that. This follows news that we had a couple of days ago from Samsung Securities getting deep into the cryptocurrency space. And I think Samsung Securities is going to be launching a cryptocurrency exchange. Everyone's jumping into the space, but a lot of people aren't doing it right. Please fix that name. It's kind of like, what was the other one? The Shiba Inu metaverse is called Shibersi or Shibers, Shivershurs or something like. And it's like, you know, there are tons of like combinations of ways to make words in English, right? House of Sam. If it's like a horror themed house, I think it'll do well, but I have a feeling it's not a horror themed house. That's the Samsung news. Also, in very popular, and then people got annoyed because people have nothing better to do with their time news. Remember the news that we had a couple of, like, it's been a month now, that Terra Luna Classic was going to implement a coin burn. And then we had news that they were trying to get every cryptocurrency exchange out there to also relist Terra Luna Classic. And then they did. And then they were like, hey, you relisted us, now implement the coin burn as well. And then Binance was like, cool, bro, I got you. I'll implement the burn. So yesterday, Binance completed their burn, and they announced that they had burned over 5 billion with a B Terra Luna Classic. And then people were like, what? That's not enough. You should have burned like 10 times that. And people, what they really aren't understanding, and hear me out here. Now, hear me out. You are lucky that they burned anything. You are lucky that Binance even thought of relisting or reactivating this coin that had terrible press at the beginning of the year, because they could have delisted it. This coin could not be on any platform. The fact that the largest crypto exchange on the planet even announced that they would be doing a coin burn for this coin, which they contemplated delisting earlier this year, is incredible. The fact that 5 billion coins were burned is also incredible. The only way for these coins to actually be burned is by actual transactions and sending them on and off the cryptocurrency exchange. We are currently in what many people are calling a bear market. He lives in the woods. He's a bear. The fact that 5 billion coins were burned as from a 1% tax on the transactions happening is still quite incredible. I think it came out to $1.8 million worth of Terra Classic was burned, and people were quite annoyed and quite upset. And I also saw a lot of people stop following trolls. It will do you no good. A lot of people on Twitter were telling other people to sell because it was a sell the news kind of event. And I saw people being like, why would I sell? This is great. This is, they burned a whole bunch of coins, but it worked because Terra Luna Classic's price, I think, fell by 5 or 6% after this, like an hour after this news came out, because people keep believing these other idiots and they sell their coins. You keep selling your coins to other. I don't understand. Remember the news that we had before? I'm screaming so loud. Remember the news that we had before that Fidelity and BlackRock were getting into the cryptocurrency space? I saw someone post on Twitter. I will never forget this. Someone posted on Twitter, stop selling your coins to Fidelity, BlackRock, and other banks around the world. And prices fell that day. Prices went down. Do you know who bought your coins? Do you know how you can never have as many Bitcoin as you previously had before because you sold them off? It's you. Why do you think all these entities and all these banks and hedge funds are entering the cryptocurrency space? Because you keep selling them coins at a discount. I don't understand why people don't understand like the basics of how these markets work. I can't even say not financial advice because you wouldn't take it anyway. You wouldn't even listen if I told you to stop selling at lows. If you bought at $1 and it goes to 48 cents and you sell and then it goes up to $1.28, you lost money. I don't know if anyone got the basics of all of that happening. This was also extremely popular news. Once again, Terra Luna Classic has become the new Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu is still in the news every now and again, but not like Terra Luna Classic. Terra Luna Classic is just completely out of this world. It's always in the news everywhere at all times. And the major news of today is that Binance burned the coins that they said that they were going to be burning. Some people got happy. Some people got annoyed. You are lucky that this coin is on any cryptocurrency exchange. There was just a proposal as well to relaunch or new launch another stable coin tied to Terra Luna Classic. And I'm like, are you trying to destroy the project? Like what you? It's literal insanity. That's the definition of insanity. Doing something over and over again that you know does not work. Be happy that Binance is burning any coins at all. Silver lining. If you burned 5 billion coins during a bear market, imagine when people really start getting back into the market, that may be 50, 70, 80 billion coins that are burned at one time. Anyway, that's I don't understand. It's just, I see people writing things online and I just assume that they're joking or trying to have a laugh or they're trying to rile people up. But then you look at their tweets and their other messages and nope, they're just not there. That's the Binance news. Moving along. Also in the news, remember like a month ago, maybe even summertime, we had news that the estate of David Bowie was planning on launching NFTs. And then people on Twitter and the interwebs were like, no, don't do it. David Bowie would have never wanted NFTs. He never used a computer or something like that. People were saying really weird stuff talking about that. David Bowie would have never wanted an NFT because it's bad for the environment. And I'm like, sure, I'm pretty sure. David, yeah, okay, sure. Amazing. Wow, why not? So those got minted. Some of them got created. And one of them sold for $127,000. I actually saw someone posting about this, like the person who owned it. I saw them posting on Twitter about it. And it sold for $127,000 and they were super excited. And I was happy for them. I was like, cool, that's great. Especially when prices are down. Dude, you made a huge amount of money. And other people, once again, just weren't happy. I think it's just jealousy. I don't know what else to really call it. If I have a friend, I don't even know this person. If I have a friend who called me, told me, texted me, I was alerted to the fact that they had gotten made $127,000, we're going to go out to celebrate. Like me and you are going to have a really fun evening and an inexpensive evening as well. We're going to go to like a really cheap restaurant just so I can make sure that you keep at least $126,950 of your dollars. But we're going to have a really good time. How you can be upset or annoyed that someone else made money? All right, so cool. Congratulations to them. This was also quite big news. The news being made that during a market downtrend, I think there was an ape. There was a, what's the other blocky one? CryptoPunk and this thing have been selling for record numbers. So wonderful. Cool. Hope everybody out there keeps making money. Also in the news, Argus says Argentina's state-owned energy company is going to be mining cryptocurrencies. Surprise! Remember how we were going over for, it's been, what is it? 1, 2, 3, like 5 years now? How governments and countries and banks are into crypto and everyone's like, you're lying, TMI. That's not a thing. So the news that the largest energy company in Argentina, which is owned by the state-owned, is going to be mining cryptocurrencies. Everyone was like, what? Argentina's into crypto? Yeah. Remember all the news that we were getting? 1, 2, 3, 5 years of all these countries around the world who are into crypto, who are mining crypto, who are optimistic. Yeah, so Argentina is going to be mining crypto. Like we know this for a fact. Like no one can ever come to you and say, well, no one's using crypto. Well, no, they are. Nearly every major country on the planet is mining it. Every major hedge fund is into it. Every bank knows about it and is buying it, and or probably has some special operation and they're mining it themselves. So don't let people lie to you, because you know it's there on the screen. And running off from yesterday, this guy also popped up. Yesterday, there were like 4, I don't know. A lot of people have basically been screaming at the SEC for doing what they're doing and corruption and stuff like that. And the founder of Masari came out as well, saying that the SEC should be focusing on a Bitcoin ETF rather than suing investors, which is what they've been doing, because the SEC has nothing better to do with their time. In about 10 to 15, I give it 7 years. I'm going to say 10. We're going to have a documentary on Netflix, and there's going to definitely be some whistleblowers who are going to be telling us why the SEC did not list an ETF. And it won't be shocking to any of us, but other people will be like, the SEC was corrupt. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So it's nice to see that people are, not that they're coming out in support of a Bitcoin ETF, but it's more of a, people are openly talking about it now, because no one really was flapping their gums. Anyway, so cool. I do believe that corruption is quite strong, and I do not believe that the US is going to be seeing a spot Bitcoin ETF anytime soon. Like not this year, not next year. I could see like 2028 or something like that, but I think Bitcoin will have to be like over $250,000, and the SEC kind of has no choice. And even then the news, they'll try and like, yeah, we released. Excuse me? I said we released. Sir, one more time. I said we released a spot Bitcoin ETF. I think it's going to be like a very big reluctant kind of thing. So cool. Wonderful. This also made popular news because, the SEC is terrible. All right. Let's move on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. GBU Wally, Dotha Diddy, Manny Cryptos, Crypto Gambino, Bubble Mode, How's Life Austin, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Jamie Saad, Blockchain Simplified, and let's move on. Empire Queen, Roman Gaba, Bitcoin, Ben Arachno, Dave, Tony, Ambroski, The Dealer's Den, Captain Something in the Z-Way, Lay, Mobarazi, VB Nerd 21, Miguel Gurley, Lauren De Silva, Corded, Biddy, Troy, All Good, Space Case, Nita Miracle, Pater Noster, Navarro Williams, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Martin Stoyo, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World Bankroll Network. Needed some air. Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Setsuna, Richie Rich III, Paxis, Nick Mangi, Alavori, Jim Garner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Jester Crypto, Bodyming, Budface, Indian Symphonies, Monk's Corner Staff, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger, Machanisa, On Crypto with Lionel, and Crayola Michelle, URL. Thank you all very, very much for your continued support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel, to everyone who left a like, who left a comment, who has subscribed. If you are still here listening to me, in the comment section, write in, I don't know, I was going to say like SEC corruption, or like, no, type in Terra Luna burn. I have no idea what to say. At the moment, Bitcoin is up by 3.48. Okay, percentile points. It's a lot of jagged stuff going on over here. It's going up. It looks like it might be trending down. I assume Bitcoin's looking towards the stock market to see what they're going to be doing. There's another couple of hours before they actually end up opening up. Ethereum is up by 4.32 percentile points. XRP is up by 4.2%. Polygon is up by 7.16%. Shiba Inu is up by 1.2. Avalanche is up by 4. Litecoin is up by 3.5. Chainlink is up by 7.5. Cosmos is up by 6.9 percentile points. Monero is up by 3.8 as well. Flow is up by 3.6. VeChain Thor is up by 4. Quant is up by 6.9 percentile points. Anything else crazy? Elron eGold is up by 6.8. But that is a bad stable coin. The Pax dollar stable coin is currently at $1.15. I feel like that shouldn't be happening with a stable coin, but alas, here we are. Yeah, the market's doing a little green dance for us. We got to see if that continues. I am optimistic of the fact that, once again, at some point, the Fed will have to stop raising interest rates and will have to start printing money again like other countries are already doing. So, for me, it's just an accumulation period. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for liking, commenting, subscribing, and or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.